Right, so today was a very big day. I'll remember this day for the rest of my career, in fact. And the reason why today was such a big day was that I completed my first ever operation from start to finish, completely on my own. My supervisor was in theatre, but they were unscrubbed, and I only asked a few questions. Right, let me tell you more about it.
If I could just leave this life, I wouldn't leave you behind, baby. 30 straight sleepless nights, I don't dream no more, I just scheme all night. I don't dream no more, I just scheme.
Right, so the process of actually becoming a surgeon in this country isn't down to you sitting a particular exam or doing a certain OSCE or reading about a particular surgery or topic. You need to commit some serious time on the wards with your trainers to win their trust so they let you operate or learn to operate on their patients. So I've been on this specialty for the past 2 or so months, slowly learning the different procedures, reading about the different anatomy, the structures of the body, the different steps of the surgery, the different techniques that are involved, and really winning the trust of the surgeons, that my consultants, my trainers. And eventually, little by little, they'll let you do bits of an operation until eventually you're ready to do the entire thing on your own.
Yeah, never can sleep at night, I know for the time after.
Now, the surgery that I did today is the bread and butter of an ear, nose and throat senior house officer, an ear, nose and throat SHO, or sort of quite a junior surgeon. And the surgery that I performed today, entirely on my own I might add, was that of a bilateral tonsillectomy. And what that really means is that you're removing the tonsils which sit at the back of the throat on both sides. It was incredible. I will say this though, I am absolutely buzzing. I mean, the ability to have someone come in with a problem that can be treated surgically, and you are the person that performed that surgery and helped that person and took them from having a problem to not having a problem. It's just unparalleled. I've never felt anything like it in medicine, and this is the reason why I love surgery so much. And I just wanted to take this moment to capture my enthusiasm and excitement for surgery, because in 10 years time, in 20 years time, in 30 years time, when I'm a seasoned veteran, an old man with grey hair and wisdom in my eyes, I want to look back at this moment and see how excited I was to perform my first ever operation entirely on my own. And look into my eyes now. This is what I want to capture: the excitement, the happiness. I'm chatting complete breeze right now. It's 10:30 in the evening, and I need to write something for the handover team and get myself home because I've got night shifts coming up tomorrow, in fact. Right, so like I said, I need to put a few things on the handover list for the team to know about the patients in the morning, and I'm gonna go home. I'm gassed. Right, so I should probably take you through what happened in the past 24 hours. The first thing is that you need to prepare for your theatre list. So yesterday, when the list was finalised, I went through every single patient on the list, learnt their story, learnt their history, learnt which operations they were going to have, and then I went through all of those steps the night before, and I looked at any relevant scans. That way I was prepared to show my trainer I was dedicated and I was ready. I'm a serious surgeon right now, yeah? Listen to me. That's what I wanted to show my trainer, and it worked.
I don't really know what's going on. You don't realize my experience.
Forgot my mask. It's on the floor now. Right, so I'm probably not going to get the same level of privacy on the ward as I am here in the deserted corridor almost at 11 p.m. So the other thing that I did was that I got in early that morning. Before the patients arrived, I went through their scans, their clinic letters, made sure everything was in order, and I knew the steps of the operation that I was about to perform. I then went through and began consenting the patients. And this is the process of actually getting permission to perform an operation. This includes going through the benefits of the operation and the risks. Most of this stuff would have been consented initially in clinic before the patient gets listed for the operation, but it's very important that we rediscuss it and we get official documentation of this permission. And this is the process of getting consent. So I managed to do that in the morning, and I went through the cases with the consultant when he arrived. And we then went for our morning briefing with the rest of the theatre team, and then it was showtime. It was finally my time to shine. The boss said, All right, Mo, you're up next. Why don't you show me what you can do? Right, so I am just logging into my Drive so I can add on the patients that we're keeping overnight, so the morning team are aware of who's in the hospital and what needs to be done before they go home.
My experience, yeah. When you work this hard, it ain't got shit. 99 problems at my door, they ain't knocking. Still gon' pop shit like I got this. Yeah. I do my dance and flex. Better go get the check.
I have no comments about my typing. I can almost touch type, but I'm not there yet. I don't spend too much time on the computer anyway. Right, so now that that is done, we can talk about the operation itself. So, bilateral tonsillectomy. Again, this is the bread and butter of an ear, nose and throat SHO. This is the sort of stuff that 20 years ago you would have been left on your own to do tens and tens of these. Obviously, things have become a lot safer now, and there's more rigid sort of supervision for these operations. Although it's a relatively straightforward operation, there is quite a high risk of bleeding because the tonsils have a very rich blood supply from the external carotid artery. It gives off multiple branches that supply the tonsil. So there is a higher risk of bleeding, and that risk of bleeding is both instantly in the operating theatre and also 5 to 9 days after the operation itself. So, it's by no means a simple operation. Thoughts and feelings. I was definitely nervous at the start of the operation, but having a consultant within an arm's reach away was very reassuring. It was that sort of good nervous where you're ready to do the operation, the steps inside out, the complications inside out, what to look out for, which structures to avoid. I was ready, but it was just, my first time. But very quickly, you start rolling with it and you start gaining a rhythm with your zapping and pulling and the tension and whatnot. And before you know it, 20 minutes in, the first tonsil was out. And I was staggered that I got it out in 20 minutes. And usually, when I've done it in the sort of 6-7 times that I've done it prior to this, I'd needed help on a particular step, that I would need to stand up. The registrar or the consultant, whoever's supervising me, would need to step in and actually help me with a particular step. But this time, things went smoothly and I was very grateful for it. My final sigh of relief was when I saw the patient after the operation. I slipped out between cases to see the patient maybe 2-3 hours after the operation. The patient was doing extremely well. They were in pain, which is expected with tonsillectomies, and that's the one thing that I had to drive home, that painkillers is the most important thing, and you must be eating and drinking to make sure that you don't develop an infection which can predispose you to a bleed. So that was a really proud moment for me, and I really did, feel really good. I even texted my mentors and I said, look, I just done my first operation. I was absolutely gassed. I was absolutely buzzing. One of my mentors actually replied and said, when are you going to make a video about it? And I thought, you know what, there's no time like the present. Let's encapsulate this moment right here, right now. So I think that's my reflecting done for the day. In summary, I performed a complete bilateral tonsillectomy entirely independently. I had a supervisor in theatre with me, but that supervisor was unscrubbed. And bar from a few questions, I performed the entire operation on my own, and I was absolutely gassed. Alhamdulillah, there weren't any complications by the grace of God, and probably a little bit of skill. There weren't any complications, and I'm absolutely buzzing, and I'm extremely looking forward to taking on more responsibility, learning more operations, performing more operations on my own, and eventually taking on trainees and teaching juniors how to perform operations. I think that's going to be something really, really special. And most importantly, I want to continue enjoying surgery as much as I do today. And I want this enthusiasm and drive to help people to stay with me. And I really wanted to encapsulate this in today's video. But I do recognize that it is almost 11:30. I'm still in the hospital. My situation is a little bit different because we're in lockdown in the UK at the moment. There's nothing really much to do socially at the moment. I'm single, no one's really waiting for me at home. I'm a free man, I'm a free bird, but as things progress, as I grow a family, as I find a friend or two, it might get a bit more difficult to stay in hospital at this time, and probably won't find many other GPs in hospital at 11:30 in the evening. But for the time being, I'm loving it and I'm enjoying it and all of the synonyms associated, and I should probably get myself home. If you found this useful, make sure you like it, share it. Really try and help me grow this channel so I can continue making videos, because at the moment uploading twice a week is pretty stressful, especially that, you know, I've booked this big exam and that needs to take priority sooner rather than later. Anyways, thank you very much for watching and I'll see you next week.
Running out of patience, baby, these days sort of drive me crazy, oh I feel pain, but I pray it's fading. One day, hoping that I make it, oh I new day, but the same on me. Wishing I could move past these days sometimes. Been down like a million times. Pray God help me till I see the light, no. Cause I can't believe what I seen these 25 years, all pain, all stress. Need a crib, hillside, 10 mil in the bank, no more, none less, oh yeah. No more, none less. Stack my hands, praying it don't fall down. Been a long time coming, baby. Been a long damn time, hope I never come down. Hope I never come down. Yeah, yeah. Say, what would you do if you was like me? Had one damn shot.